This is Drop Tent Media Network.
Hey, welcome to the Weekday Comics. I'm Dave Permiano.
And I'm Dan DeBriel, and we're here to shoot the shit and talk the news.
Are you getting mad at Stephen Hawking for being on that? Like, can you even?
Yes. You know,
He just goes where anybody pushes him, right? Hey, welcome to the show.
Hey, all right. Just came in mid-light conversation about Epstein's Island.
It's Stephen Hawking. You know that for his girl was like Johnny Five from Short Circuit with a female wig on.
Oh man, let me introduce the voice you just heard right there. He is one of my favorite comics. He's a local legend of sorts.
Absolutely.
He hosts the very funny podcast Kensil Culture. Neil, are you getting a phone call? Is there someone at the door? What's going on?
Windows calling you right now? What's happening?
From Kensil Culture, we got John Kensil in the building.
Hey guys.
What's up, John?
Hey guys. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Oh, of course. Should we? This all started because we were talking about Greta
Thunberg.
And her being stacked in her new arrest photos.
She's 21 now, too. Don't.
These questions were all asked prior to the recording. It's not as if we prepared these
I
statements.
always like pulling the curtain back a little bit so just know what we were talking about right up until you're on the air.
Yeah, but we shouldn't let them know these aren't prepared normal welcome to the show statements here. This is an organic conversation about Greta Thunberg and Epstein's Island.
Yeah.
Which again, I will say for the cameras, technically she was trying to save from beach erosion.
Yes.
It's true. If Epstein's Island disappears underwater, Greta Thunberg has lost.
That's right. So in that Greta and Jeff are aligned.
Oh,
Yeah, go ahead. No, after you. You have a real topic to ask.
Big week. OJ died. Do you remember where you were?
Was that you or me?
Oh,
I think
it's weird.
The amazing Wid.
When it happened, it was 95. So I was in first grade. Ladies. No, I think it was at work. That was like one of the first things that people were glued to the TV set.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Because how soon before that was the Rodney King thing too? Like you thought the LA cops were just that whole.
It was in the same era.
Yeah.
I was too young to remember like the exact timing of both of those events, but I remember the OJ trial. My mom was glued to the TV. She watched like every day. I knew more about the OJ trial than a kid my age should. I knew Judge Ito. I'll never forget Judge Ito for as long as I live. Why? Why do I know some Southern California judge?
And look how they mocked. 2 people were killed, and Jay Leno has the dancing Itos. He had 20 guys dressed as Asian judges dancing around. Like it was a complete.
He had 20 guys dressed as Asian guys?
As Asian judges.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
It was the 90s. So
yeah.
Were they just 20 Asian guys dressed as judges or 20 white guys dressed as Asian judges?
Asian gentlemen, right?
And through that filter, you can see where the problem begins.
But it's like it was so blatantly obvious, the evidence, but they planted those seeds of doubt with Mark Furman was the cop who, but a lot of guys did stupid stuff too. He had blood evidence in his car for a weekend. And they go, well, it could have been tainted. But
is blood like a sunty where it's different if you leave it in the sun for a week or so.
And you find these things out later on. Hey, he paid for the lawyers when they go, the gloves don't fit, you must have quit. Well, they told OJ to stop taking his blood pressure medication, so his sausage link, Tony Robbins' hands. His hands are like, his hands like in the Avengers when we've reached, they work on nuclear stuff with that glass window and they're grabbing big gloves. But,
okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But when that happened, like. And Marsha Clark and the other guy should have said, "Yeah, they don't fit because you're not taking because they were soaked in blood." They should have. There's also would have afterwards, and then they made a TV series out of it, like two or 3 years ago with John Travolta,
Cuba Gooding Jr. as OJ.
Yeah, John Travolta was, oh god, the Kardashian guy, and
no, David Schwimmer.
That was David Schwimmer.
Ross from Friends was the Kardashian.
and I remember when it was over, that miniseries was over, I was like, oh, who's OJ going to kill next season? a recurring series.
My thought from that was that like OJ or Cuba Gooding Jr. is such an unintimidating figure.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think this OJ might be innocent. Like, I don't see fucking radio killing two people.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
OJ wouldn't have cut it
Yeah.
in Snow Dogs. Not enough
Yeah.
heart.
Radio might pet a rabbit to death, but he's not killing two people.
Boat trip.
OJ's boat trip would have been a much different movie.
You know what, too, if you think about that movie's like so over the top of like it's not politically correct. The movie Boat Trip.
I never even saw it.
I saw it when I was a kid or whenever
Cuba
it came
Gooding and who's the guy? I don't know.
Horatio Sands, is it?
out. Wow.
Or
Ooh.
Horatio Sands type.
Yeah, that one. No, that's the one that Artie Lang was supposed to get, but he got. But they
His
actually
nose fell in.
they got booked on a gay cruise, and it's just way over top flamboyant. But
It was Horatio Sands for our listeners at home who were probably agonizing over it.
But,
Yeah.
but that the OJ thing with Bill Maher isn't really smart about. Like I'm not. Anyway,
Doesn't get said very
Yeah, I
often.
know,
but
yeah. but he said something. He said about these athletes. All the ones who beat their wives up on elevators and put mittens on dogs.
Second time he's been mentioned
Yeah,
in
right.
2 weeks too.
Yeah.
But
Hey, he might be next. Who knows with our power to bring up
That's true.
athletes.
But Bill Maher said it right. He goes, these athletes are coddled when they first start showing their athletic prowess, like 12, 13 years old. So the coaches get their tests taken for them, and Bill Maher said right. They never matured since a 12-year-old kid. Then they're given steroids and girls and money and adulation. And he said like OJ, and then he also pointed out too, OJ's head is gigantic. It's huge from steroids.
Yeah.
And he got mad, even though he was probably had in his bedroom like a Dixie cup dispenser of Hollywood whores. I got this blonde tonight. Oh my god!
Oh, right. He was a total hypocrite with the
Yeah.
whole reason he was angry in the first place. Yeah.
And this in this weird sense of celebrity in this country, who's the Kato Kalin?
Oh, yeah.
The
Kato.
And
Again, another guy who I'll never forget, who literally did nothing in his entire life. He
Yep.
achieved. Well, maybe he didn't. I don't know. But I don't want to write Kato
Right.
Kalin off. He probably had a long life after the
Yeah,
trial.
shouldn't Kato Kalin be inspiration for all of us?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Kato, I think I fear that at the end of my life, I'll be a Kato
Yeah.
Kalin. I'll be less known. I'll be less billed than Kato.
Can you guys
I don't
talk
want
about Kato Kalin? Because I know him, but like I don't know the controversy, and I feel like anyone under 30 definitely does.
he was renting a room back behind the house where she was killed.
He was like a himbo.
Like the
pool
Leo.
boy.
Right, he was the guy in
his
the-
Larry David.
Yeah,
He
kind of,
stayed
yeah.
in the guest
Yeah.
house.
Yeah, that's
And-
right.
And you watch that too. He really played the middle of the fence. Like he goes, I thought I heard something or whatever, but he looked like a guy you would hate. Like it's a blonde hair, and he tried to do comedy afterwards.
Oh,
And
did
write
he?
books. He goes to conventions and signs autographs. But like really,
That's
he never did anything.
No.
Comedy and MMA are like the two things that people famous in something else. are
Yeah.
like,
Yes.
all right, that'll be. Which is this the weirdest split off ever.
Yeah.
I could everybody sees comedy. Yeah, I could do that. Or MMA.
Yeah.
I could do that too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or,
And I could go to comedy for the love of God.
Yeah,
you
But don't.
Yeah.
But like, if you had to choose, like I hate that I've had to open for fucking the kid from Bronx Tale.
oh, you did? What's it? 6 C?
Yeah.
C.
It was Colosero.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't even do like that was his. But he'd also get the shit kicked out of him against a real fighter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
It's like yeah. Do you think? Oh, he's a tough guy. Like this conversation is going great. I wonder what's going to happen with that Mike Tyson, Jake Paul fight.
I don't know. It's interesting because Mike Tyson, way better fighter, but he's old.
Yeah.
So is age the ultimate decider? I think Jake Paul's it's gonna be a fight. I think that they're gonna make it a fight. They want to drag it out a little. I think they're both going for their money. Neither of them wants to get hurt. It's like a fake fight.
Yeah.
It's like I don't feel like
Yeah.
either one of
Yeah.
them really cares enough to want to win.
there's
Maybe
going to be no knockdowns or anything like that.
But
because like Jake Paul could go hard, maybe because he wants to beat Mike Tyson, but at the end of the day, he's fighting an old man.
Yeah.
Like
you're right. Back to the OJ thing. That when Tyson like lost his luster was right around the same time the OJ thing happened. Like all this crazy stuff happened in the early 90s or mid 90s, right? But that I just saw a box analysis guy did a video, said Mike Tyson wasn't a good fighter, but he was a brawler. Like if he hit you, you're done. Like he
Right.
didn't like technical things, but he got into you. But it's just I thought it was a neat concept too.
I've heard that too.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't the most technical fighter, but he if he hit you a couple times, he would hurt so bad he'd have a good chance of winning.
I do like the comparison of Mike Tyson and OJ though, because they both showed us that like through enough violence, once you get enough violence out of your system, you could be a pretty chill guy down the line for another 30 years.
OJ had that little thing with the memorabilia that wasn't so chill, where he pulled a gun on a guy.
And he actually wrote a book called "If I Did It."
Yeah. Apparently, I just learned this in the wake of his death, that he didn't write that book. It was ghostwritten, and he just like attached his name to it for like a payoff. But like, what is even ballsier? But like, he didn't confess. He let somebody else write the story.
His
that
fingers
they
were
thought...
probably too fat to hit each individual button on a typewriter.
Banana hands. It's so. You always think in the year 2024, we have like flying cars and food pills and robot maids, and here this weird, a murderer gets off that we all know he did it. It just everything's crazy. It's
yeah, it is crazy.
Where's my robot maid?
Rosie.
Yeah. Hey, Mr. J. But that whole OJ thing, it's my God, it's he had women falling off. He was getting marriage proposals in prison. People thought he was framed. And remember, you ever hear people when they talk about the moon landing, if it was faked, it would have to involve like 100,000 people in it. That say it wasn't fake. They said the same thing about the OJ trial. If they set him up, it would have took 1,000 people to be involved in it.
Yeah, I remember reading something where it was like pretty credible that Mark Furman did plant some evidence, but he didn't need to, because there was such overwhelming evidence to convict him that the planted evidence actually hurt the case, because they were like, wait, you planted this and not all of Nicole Brown Simpson's blood that was like all over the place? And the guy's like, yeah, or like whatever. And Furman, like, apparently, like, this was, of course, obviously pre-social media, but people like had invented, like, we had figured out how to go back and pull up people's comments. And they're like, Furman, you said a lot of things that kind of explain your motivation behind planting that evidence in the first place.
He wrote a screenplay that had elements of that in it, and the screenplay had the M word in it.
Right.
So they, if you had a
early day Tarantino.
Exactly. If you had a sequestered audience and you don't know anything, and after the Rodney King things, you think the cops were racist maniacs and want to get him. It's insane.
We wouldn't think that now, of course, in 2024. That's strictly the 90s. There,
All right, so one final note on the OJ thing then. Assuming he did it, can we get our brains to that level? Was cancer good enough?
Did you see it was in the news today, they're going to auction off the white Bronco? Well, I was amazed by people who buy stuff like that. Like, what do you come on, kids? We're going to plan our trip around the Tennessee OJ truck museum. Like, who wants that? Like, should I get the money?
Somebody. It'll start a huge bidding war.
Yeah,
but like, I mean, like, I give money to a children's cancer hospital, or I want a infamous van.
Dude won't even donate his brain for CTE research.
Yeah, it's crazy
because the murderer was always there. That has nothing to do with head injuries. Those fucking leather helmets did their shit back in.
I see people do that. There's a house for sale. They restored the Brady Bunch house out in Pasadena or wherever it's at. Right?
Oh yeah,
right. But like, I see move in there. You say, oh, John lives in the Brady Bunch house. People are like, ah, and that's it. Like, how long be excited for, right? Then you have people banging our doors, marching in, right? Like,
how many bodies did Charles Manson leave there?
Yeah, exactly. Remember that movie a couple years ago called the Elvis movie?
I didn't see it, but I'm aware it exists.
The music's good. Well, someone was interviewing the guy who played Elvis, and they said, they let him hold Elvis's real guitar for 45 minutes. Like, so Elvis has magic and went into him, right?
Right.
They let him go to Graceland, and there's parts that are roped off. They let him in there for 15 minutes, so he could absorb it. Like, get out of
Any
here.
magical powers you think Elvis would have disappear the second he dies on the toilet. You're never hearing about the Knights of the Round Table and Merlin dying on the fucking shit bucket, which is all they have back then.
He was in the
Also
in the
there's
kitchen.
also there's black folks behind him with the actual magic.
Right. They're doing the magic.
Man.
Well, maybe he stole.
But like to buy that the white Broncos in some, it's like I think it's in Tennessee, but it's called like the it's a museum of not going to say haunted, infamous Ted Bundy's Volkswagen,
Okay.
and other famous murderers,
Interesting.
right? And the dog from
Who else?
Dumb and Dumber,
They stopped making the Bronco.
the dog man,
Yeah, the dog man. They stopped making the Bronco because of that, because of the infamy of the car chase. So that's pretty cool. Like he not only killed 2 people, he killed off an entire line.
But
of
they kept the
successful
Volkswagen
vehicles.
Bug, even though Ted Bundy and Hitler drove one.
You're right. I don't get it. I don't get what you have to do. What are the rules?
Can you imagine Hitler in the VW?
Oh, hello. Like,
Yeah, didn't that say no-
Hi, hello.
say
Beep,
no,
beep.
he's making a right hand turn.
Yeah.
Oh wait, damn it, that's on the internet forever now.
So
Yeah.
I know I took a screenshot of that picture.
You did it smarter than I did.
Yeah.
I went right for
You gotta
it.
go with an arm bend for plausible
Shit,
deniability.
live,
Yeah.
live.
Can you airbrush a yo-yo with my hand?
Why don't they just do the yo-yo and Hitler's hand? For the-
One of the greatest things I've seen. This is old too. Someone has Hitler making some speech where
Right.
they put the theme from the Jeffersons into it. And we're moving on up. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. That museum I keep talking about. They also had like Bonnie and Clyde's car where they got riddled with bullets.
That's
Um,
not running very well anymore, though.
no, it's
That's strictly to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot
One
of
of-
holes in the thing.
I don't know if it's there or it's out in LA, but there's the Museum of Death, and they have the car that Jane Mansfield was killed in.
That's in LA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I went on that tour a couple of times, but she's buried around here in the Delaware Valley. She's in somewhere in Delco.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
James Mansfield. How about that?
But it's just that's you look at you're amazed for 8 seconds. Then you just, all right, I saw the car. Like,
Yeah, it's a parked car. Like,
Yeah.
how interesting, really, ultimately, could it be? Especially the white Bronco. If you want to see that, just watch the clip
yeah.
of the car chase. You can see the car in action. You go, wow, it's a white Bronco.
You know what I think about that was so crazy, that slow car chase. And my God, every network had it on, and that was one of the best things ever when that guy called up Robert from the Stern Show
Okay.
and said, "Yeah, I see me. OJ, he looks scared." And a Baba Boo to you all. Then you hear Al Michaels come in. Yeah, that was a total farcical call. And it was something indicative of a popular radio show host. Right?
That chase actually, because I know it cut off from TV an NBA Finals game. Did it stop the actual game too?
That's
Oh, wow, that would be interesting. I don't know.
yeah.
I thought, okay, you don't have to look it up. It's been one of the four great minds we've collected together here.
I don't know. But it's crazy the power that the OJ trial, the spectacle of it. We've had other rich people go down, not many, but a few. Not a single one had a low
Stephen
speed.
Hawking.
No,
Yeah.
you're-
He had a
Stephen
different-
Hawking in a chase.
He had a different kind of low speed chase. His chair just got out of control.
You're right though. Remember after that was the Menendez brothers, and there's always an LA based trial.
They saw trends out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how Nancy Grace and all those court TV got real popular.
It's got something to do with him being like more of a media darling, right?
Yeah,
Like it's the other stuff is like much better, but he was just like such a media darling. As he's driving, people are losing less and less confidence in him that he
Yeah.
didn't do it. You
Right.
just see it dwindling.
but remember the white Bronco like went on an overpass and people were cheering for him.
Yeah. Let's go, OJ. Some of us are still cheering for him.
You don't remind you
22K.
in the movie Independence Day, when the aliens first come here and they're hovering around, no one knows what's going on. And all the idiots in LA are on top of a thing going, yeah, aliens, and they're like wearing like, and they get zapped, the whole
Yeah.
thing explodes. That never underestimate the stupidity of people.
Yeah, there's people on top of that overpass. If they just had his
Yeah.
merch,
Yeah, right.
they would get
If
the
he just
credit.
ran up and stabbed them all too, that's
your foam knives. Yeah.
I wonder what the time frame is on like OJ Simpson jersey wearing. Do you think you could wear it now and have it now that he's dead, or do you think we still have to wait for a little while?
I think if you wear it this week, maybe like the next 2 weeks, it'll be ironically funny.
Oh,
it might be problematic after that.
But it resumes, it fades into the background of
Like,
his
it's funny,
general
he-
reputation. Yeah.
He died. Or if you'd maybe change Simpson to cancer.
you know what's weird? You know what's weird too? How could the NFL, like, how do they make a law like that where his pension can't be touched by anything ever? He that's how he was living off his football pension.
Good union.
But
Yeah.
like, how can you make a law? Or all football players can't touch. Everything's crazy.
Yeah, he still owes a bunch of money to the Goldmans.
Yeah.
I know that.
And the people snuck out the photos of the dead bodies. Like, that was brutal. What happened to them?
Oh, that always happens. That happens at every scene. Now.
Yeah, nowadays.
I know cops. They got a whole fucking
They
hard
tra-
drive full.
Oh,
of them.
yeah.
They trade him.
Oh. No, I did
Neil,
want to
what
bring
kind
this
of
up.
demented bullshit are you pulling up on
That
the
one-
TV
that's
here?
not my-
No. This is
Is this
this
is
is
this
the-
Kensil's first set or what?
If you guys can see that, about three years ago, you ever see that thing on Halloween? They have here's vintage Halloween costumes from 1900.
Yeah.
Well, that was on one of them. It was like,
Oh,
right?
we have audio listeners too. So let's describe
okay.
what's going on. Okay, so we got like a old timey fisherman.
I saw that as like a Costco Gandalf. I see
believe
what you're
that's a
saying.
That's the
fisherman.
name for a band.
Yeah, and he's got a chain leash that leads to a giant rat, and the leash is to the ring in the rat's nose. And this you
And
cropped this
rat-
out of the original picture. There's a little child next
Yeah,
to
that's
him with a, I want to say, an Oriental mask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
There's somebody
Like-
from the Strangers horror
Yeah, it's
movie.
It's like the mask they wear at like Cirque du Soleil or something like that.
and also like you think it's one the guy in the middle is a giant. He's dressed as a giant leather rat.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
G-
rat
g-
costume for our audio listeners, it is not a good rat
It
costume.
looks like a gimp
like a
outfit.
BDSM
Yeah,
rat kind of
Zed,
costume.
get the gimp.
If the
Yeah.
child wasn't there, then that would definitely lead me to more. There's some sex play involved.
Yeah.
I hope there it isn't. Now that the child is not cropped out of this picture.
And the guy looks like, I don't know, like a Picasso or a sea captain or something.
Yeah.
Well, I found this picture. And you ever see the collection of those vintage Halloween costumes? All right, they're really creepy, especially because they're black and white.
Mhm.
But they're really eerie and they're like wrinkled. And anyway, well, I found that picture of the guy with the rat, not the little racist thing next to him. But I just, as a joke, I just said, "Hey, this is the Phillies' first mascot, the dancing Dutchman, and his pet rat Chauncey." and I put hashtag Phillies, right? Well, it took off. It got shared like 2 million times. Right? And the Philadelphia Inquirer did an article, local comedian trying to be funny. That's not true. Well, I got people send me designs for T-shirts, so you can start selling them.
That's awesome. Chauncey.
And you can still find once in a while because people bring this story up again. Hey, you ever see the Phillies' first mascot? Not realizing it was obviously. I don't think the Phillies were even a team in 1900, were they?
All right, that's awesome. You started an urban legend about
Yeah.
a BDSM couple.
Yeah, you had like hundreds of thousands of people that bought into it.
That probably still to this day believe
Like
it.
Newsweek released an article. Like, no, this is not the actual mask.
They're trying to find anything to just not report on Gaza.
Right. Yeah.
Just anything, dude. We'll throw anything out there.
So was that the pinnacle of the comedy career?
That's
right
yeah.
there?
If my obituary should say that. He opened for a 7-year-old prop comic, and
Sometimes gravestones have like a little picture of the guy's head. It's gonna have to be that for you.
on the wall there, the audience can't see, but there's a picture of Dave Attell
Yes.
when he was at Helium last time, not this past week. They must have some kind of function during the day at the comedy club. They have luncheons there and stuff like the fundraiser, whatever. Well, David, someone had a small bag of Lay's potato chips, the small, like 25-cent one you get in school. It was sitting on the stool. So they bring up, hey, ladies and gentlemen, there's David Tell. And he goes walking out. And he looks down. He sees the potato chip. He picks up and goes, what am I, a legendary wid? It's very funny. So, I got them saved somewhere on my phone. We did the comedy cell up in New York a couple years ago, 5 years ago. And David Tell, Artie Lang, Conquin, Nick DePaul, they couldn't wait to see Wid. Like, really, he's a vaudeville. It's my friend. He's
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
vaudeville prop actor.
The
You guys-
legendary Wid, for those of you who don't know, legendary comic in Philly. He's been
Yeah.
around forever. Everyone knows
Yeah.
him. He's great,
Yeah.
and he's a prop comic.
And it's like it's
And all his props are in your truck.
yes. Yeah,
So you guys are kind of a package deal at that. When we booked you, we said, all right, 50-50 shot. He shows up
Yeah.
with Wid. If not, cool. If
He
it
did
happens,
call.
cool.
If so, make some space in the studio for the prop.
It's
Yeah. So David Tell goes, can I introduce Wid? And like they know, he knows, like they work together. And he goes, ladies and gentlemen, this guy's been seen on Comedy Central, A&E, Showtime special with Jonathan Winters. And he pauses and he goes, and today you can find him at CVS, the pharmacy. And we're down the comedy show, just down these steps. It's a tight room, really tight. We've had all this crap. And then we, and then
Moving like a giant trunk down.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, that with hula hoops and Captain Crunch styles. And Wid has a new thing in his he had put the sombrero on his head in a golf club, and he says quattro instead of four. right?
See, I love that.
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but he goes, what? You don't think that's funny? You don't think that's funny? And he has a big jar of whey protein. You keep on your kitchen counter, and he goes, and it's nothing's in it. And he holds it, and it's upside down. He goes, look, no way, right? It's a groaner. But then he takes the sombrero off and puts it on top and goes, no way, Jose. And it doesn't end.
Right. Like if you wanted to see a prop joke with 8 tags,
Yes. Yeah.
that's the legendary Wid. Yeah.
And how much of that is off the top of his head too? Because I've done podcasts with him, and his fucking like
yeah.
it's the easiest thing in the world. That's I
I
just sit back. You don't even have to say anything. Just let him fucking go.
he's got these great stories. His best friend is Tony Bon Jovi, who's Bon Jovi's cousin. He owns the records. He started the record Power Station, the recording studio up in New York. Well, he ran it, and the Ramones, Blondie, Bruce Springsteen,
Cool.
all there. Well, Wid was his gopher. Wid's got. If you ever Wid, not only comedy, just to talk to his stories about that, it's very fascinating.
Yeah.
We're, meanwhile, Carrot Top's making $100,000 a week in Vegas.
In his residency. Yeah.
And Wid and I are at the Andalusia Bar and Grill for Pickle Man.
Yeah, I think the last time the three of us performed together, it was for 7 people.
Yeah.
I think it was
Yeah.
it was a small room, intimate show. Let's call it that.
Have you ever encountered Pickle Man?
No,
right.
I have
Oh,
once or twice.
All right.
Pickle Man.
He was stabbed.
Oh, Dan, what he says. Now I mentioned you'll see him someday. He drives all around the city and all suburbs, lands to shore. He's a white like rental, what do you call it, like a U-Haul van, but it's all white and it's a picture of a dancing pickle on the side. And he
He
sells
knows his branding.
Well, he sells pickles and horseradish and deviled eggs to bars. And, he goes into the bars and he tries to sell. He goes, hey, we can do a comedy show here. You guys see this guy? He looks like he has the body of the Philly fanatic with a Rod Stewart wig. And this sounds like I'm making this up.
It
No,
does.
you're not at all.
I believe you, but it does sound
What's
like
his-
an
describe his
otherworldly
voice.
character.
Yeah. Well, on stage, when you go on the boardwalk and you see old people riding that 3-wheeled bicycle down the
Yeah.
street. Well, he has one. Only instead of a seat, he has a toilet. And he rides around on a toilet bike in the hall, the comedy club. And he gets off and he how old is this song? But he goes, poop, there it is. Poop. And that song, the song parodies 35 years
That
ago.
was playing during the Bronco chase, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's funny. He calls me up. He goes, "Hey, you working this week?" I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "For who?" And I tell him who. And he goes, "Who books that? Why don't they book me?" I like saying, "Did you ever watch your act? You have a toilet bike." And well, anyway, this story's not telling. I'm not telling sales. It was in the freaking paper about, I don't know, 5 years ago, 8 years ago. It made headlines in Philadelphia saying local comedians stabbed in neck.
In
right.
Heck, I didn't know that.
Right. And here in
It was a thin piece of wood, right?
Yeah.
Pickle Man.
Oh, right. Nice.
In Port Richmond neighborhood in Philadelphia, it's predominantly like Polish and Irish neighborhood. There's no real minorities there. It's Well,
Heaven.
yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
He
Joking.
said Poland.
Oh my god.
Right?
So I could feel intellectually
Yeah.
superior too.
Okay, there you go.
So he said he was stopped down there, and he said 2 Puerto Ricans came up and stabbed him in the neck and ran off. Well, cops know this stuff bullshit right away. It's so obvious. It's like the husband going, "I don't know. My wife said she's going to go for a jog at 3 a.m." Like it's so obvious.
Was it before or after Josie Smollett?
Yeah,
Or
right.
whatever.
So here, and he was on the news interview, and he had a big bandage on his neck, right? And so I saw him like the next day, and you could stand there. I'm thinking that you're like, Dracula, right? I think I saw the look. You cut yourself shaving,
Right.
right? Well, I don't know how he got away with this. So they filed a police report. The cops were looking for 2 Puerto Rican guys who stabbed Pickle salesman, right?
That's the episode title.
Yeah.
2 Puerto Ricans who stabbed a pickle salesman.
Right there. The story of.
So about 2 days later, the cops interrogate you, like put the heat lamp on his pickle juice, right? and he admitted he's a bookie, and he pulled up to a bar down on off Aramingo Avenue in the middle of Port Richmond, and he owed somebody $500 because he used to pay him off, and he didn't have it. And the guy goes, "You better pay me," and he put a screwdriver or a butter knife to his neck, right? And he gave whatever he had, but also I don't know how the cops were even involved in it. But it just let this discrepancy. Can I pay you in pickles? All right.
I also like that this guy slings 3 things: pickles, deviled eggs, and the comedy nights. Again,
You
like
said
it shows you.
horseradish too, right?
Oh yeah, and horseradish. Yeah.
And he has Chinese hot mustard, but which is actually
Not like Dijon,
yeah.
like the Chinese
hot
yeah, it's all racist, like Oriental. you're
You can
That's
only
what
use
he calls
Oriental
it,
to
yeah.
describe that
Yeah.
little kid's mask.
Yeah,
Other than that,
yeah.
or a rug.
Or
Other
the
than that, it's an outdated term.
You
Yeah.
can see that little kid holding a thing of mustard.
you're gonna see this guy someday. You go, oh, there he is. You're like, he looks like Rod Stewart. And
Okay.
no,
He's got one thing going for him.
but he has a Rod Stewart wig on.
Oh.
And, right?
Yeah, he takes it off about halfway through the act.
Okay.
But my God, like the stuff. Oh,
If I can interrupt.
yeah.
So when he's delivering pickles and Asian hot mustard, is he wearing the wig for the
Yes.
deliveries too? Okay, so it's not just a comedy prop to take
yeah,
off halfway
yeah.
through his act.
I gotta say it to my phone. You probably can't hear. I'd like to anyway. I get done a show with Wood about 2 months ago. It's 1:30 in the morning. My phone rings. And it's Pickle Man. All right. And he goes, yo, what's going on? Nothing. We're getting back from the show. He goes, oh, I'm working on a bit. I go, what? All right. Now, if I say it's factually, it's not me doing it. I'm repeating his words. But Pickle Man, I'm working on a new bit for my act. What do you think of this? I go, what? He goes, Tom Jones, if he's retarded. Right? And he goes, now
What a heady
listen.
bit.
Right? And he goes, now listen. And so I took my phone out. I'm filming it. Right? I'm filming another phone as he's talking to the speaker. Right? And he goes, Tom Jones, if he's retarded, listen. He goes, I think it'll kill. And he goes, what's new, pussycat? Whoa. He goes, what do you think? I'm like, they're gonna love you in Friedsburg. It's so offensive.
The old VFW shows, he'll fucking kill him. But
Yeah.
Remember the spinoff from America's Funniest Videos called America's Funniest People with Dave Coulier and the
Sure.
20
I
Catano?
don't,
It's
but-
just fun people doing funny things.
It was
not-
basically the same thing as America's Funniest Home Videos,
I
right?
like that they kept it in the same sitcom for the hosting.
yeah.
Yeah. We're not leaving the full house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you do watch it, there's one for like 4 seasons. There's one where they show him the beginning of the show, him riding the toilet bike down the boardwalk. And he years ago in Philadelphia, the one of those local papers, like the Philadelphia City paper, Philadelphia Weekly, they interviewed every comedy club owner in Philadelphia because they all hated each other. There was like booking wars.
Oh, yeah.
They still.
I think
that's more of an
still true.
outside of. That's
Yeah.
like an outskirts of Philly thing now. All the bookers hate each other.
Yeah.
And
I love it.
I had it saved on my phone, but the newspaper went bankrupt or out of it, and they did anyway. But they interviewed all the major clubs, they had a what do you call it? A summit. All right. They met somewhere, and they all said, Pickle Man said, yeah, they had a summit, and it was all about one thing: get Pickle. They wanted to get rid of me. Right? He made it was a mob meeting.
The five families.
We have to do something about this pickle. Man.
The five families. Hold the pickle. There you go. Hold the pickle. Yeah, that's right.
Oh my god, it was so. And you know, it's where I've as I get older, like I like watching the show around me of weirdo comedians and weirdo people. And,
Yeah.
Pickle Man. I got videos of him dancing. It just everything's on the show I'm doing Saturday. It's Wid and me, and Pickle Man and a guy named Nick Palo, not the Palo, Nick Palo. He's a guy. He's a puppeteer, a ventriloquist from Pensacola, New Jersey.
Okay,
a real nice guy, and he has a zombie puppet like the zombie puppet, right? Well, he went. Or like ventriloquist dummy should look funny, like for little kid parties.
Yeah,
he must have spent a lot of money. This is a zombie puppet that looks like Return of the Living Dead 2. Like
it's horrifying.
It's horrifying. Its eyes hang out. It's dripping. It's just really a gory. Come on, kids!
I guess there's a niche for it. I'm sure there's somebody out there that's like, I'm goth and I like puppetry. I like ventriloquism.
What kind of zombie jokes is it? So I guess it's a talking zombie.
It's like every corny ventriloquist joke.
It's just the dead terrorist.
You scared me half to life.
We'll buy that off you, right? I wish you can't see on here.
I will part with that one.
It's the new phase of my career. I'm selling jokes exclusively to a zombie puppeteer.
But he has and I think there's a book of like puppet, ventriloquist dummy jokes, because he has a little severe alcoholic puppet. It has a DTs. It's like it's not the comical W.C. Fields drunk, but it does jokes like, "Hey, I heard you went to the doctor today, drunky Joe." And he's like, "Yep, he didn't find a drop of blood in my alcohol stream." Right?
And then
1940.
Look back and forth.
That's right. You ever see when the puppet goes?
That's my least favorite thing about the ventriloquist act is when the puppet looks at all of the room after its joke.
You mean he does what I do?
Yes, yes. Actually, I never put that together. But yes, you do the puppet move when your joke doesn't land.
Yep, which is often. I do a lot of puppet moves.
You know, it's funny. Just so my conversations go. It was 10 years ago today. Otto and George died, or Otto died. The guy, the dirty puppet guy in Jersey.
Yeah. George lives on. George weirdly moves on his own.
I saw them. I opened for him several times, like 10, 15 times. I would go see him. It was the most dirty, funniest thing you've ever seen in your life, and he made no effort of not moving his lips.
Yeah,
right. And it was funny because the puppet would just say that, like David Tuck, crazy cartoon image punchlines, and then it was funny. The guy was Otto. You think, and he would say, "Come on, George, stop it," and the puppet would look at him, and he's yelling at himself. He's like, "Every time you talk, the show comes to a complete halt." Right? Because why don't you shut up, Geppetto, or I'll fuck you in the ass wearing a Santa hat. It just didn't make any sense. I never heard that for it. But it was 10 years ago today. He died. Find the videos. It's so unbelievably funny.
You did one because you bring the puppets up every now and then.
Yeah.
You did one of the funnier things during the pandemic, using the mask during your puppet act. I can do it without moving my mouth.
That's funny. That's part of my act now.
Nice.
I'll plant some annoyance with a Wagga Wagga bag with a puppet in it, and I'll go on stage and I'll say, "I hope you guys use the quarantine to improve yourself: jogging, running, piano, guitar." Whatever. I try to do the ventriloquism. I try to work on. Would you guys want me? But I got a problem. I left my dummy on the bus. Does anybody have one? Some lady raised her hand, like she carries dummies to comedy clubs. I go, "Oh, really? Hello, miss. I don't know." And I'll get the puppet and I'll open it up. And I'll say, remember, the secret to ventriloquism is not seeing your lips move. So during the quarantine, I put the blue mask over my secret. and I bring the puppet out.
That's brilliant.
But it's bring the puppet out, and it's like a little. But his name's Mr. McGonagall. Right? And it's really cute looking. but he tells like the foulest jokes. It's like, I can curse on the show, right?
Of course.
All right.
I'd hope so.
All right. So, but he brings the puppet. I go, hey, Mr. McGonagall, how's everything going? How do you like, well, I don't know, Doylestown? Oh, I love Doylestown. It's really nice to be here. I learned something today. What'd you learn? The squirrels explode after they have sex in Doylestown. Oh, the squirrels explode after they have sex. He goes, well, the ones I fucked did. It's a really cute little dummy. He looks around and he says, bananas are good for me. Bananas are good for your memory. Really? Bananas? You always repeat it. They're good for your memory? Yeah. My girlfriend shoved it in my ass. I'll never forget that. And the crowd's horrified. Then I say the next one. Hey, vasectomies don't work. Really? Vasectomies don't work? Yeah. It just changes the color of the baby.
I'd heard the first one. I hadn't heard that last.
And then there's and these are like old Jackie the Joke Man jokes or street jokes. Right?
Yeah.
But
to hear a little cute puppet say them, is fun.
I did the helium contest a couple times, and I thought it was funny. I'm not even a puppet guy, but I find them in like flea markets or someone give it to me.
Do you go to the flea market with the express
Yes.
goal of finding puppets?
Puppet,
Okay.
yeah.
My puppet senses are tingling. Right? But what do you call it? I don't know what's going to go to the store. I did the helium contest. Even if you don't win it, I recommend if you do it, they'll tape you. You might get a nice tape out of it because you have a good audience. So don't worry about winning. I'm gonna go to good anyway.
Yeah, definitely don't worry about winning.
Yeah. Especially us. They just gave it to a white guy. We're obsolete
we're
for at
out.
least the next 2 years.
It's going to be a couple years
Yeah.
before they give it to another mediocre white. Yeah.
Well, I came out with this big Muppet old man puppet, right? and he goes, "There's Mr. John Kensil." And I come out and like making the puppet like look around, like, he's going to do something with that puppet. It's going to say something wacky. And I just throw it on the floor and then I do my act.
Yeah.
I don't even. Well, I
A
stopped.
puppet fake out.
Yeah, I stopped doing it because I heard people go, "Oh," like, they thought I was gonna, I'm like, all right, whatever.
Maybe
but,
they felt you were being mean to the puppet,
Yeah.
like you were being cruel to this little guy.
Are they considered a marginalized group in this day of age?
oh, the guy I mentioned at the show, Nick Palo, who's a very nice guy. He goes to these puppet and these offbeat ventriloquist people conventions. All right. And there's other guys who do other things with puppets, like not there's religious ones like, hey kids, the devil, but they have other performers, magic guys and stuff. In Kentucky, in Lexington, it's called Vent Haven, right? It's a building. I think it's a real big house. When a ventriloquist dies, the family sends the puppet there.
Oh my God, really?
And they have like Charlie McCarthy and those are the famous puppet guys. Well, they have rooms, and it's the creepiest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah,
right.
That's amazing.
It's
I
like-
would go visit that just for the creep factor of it.
I got photographs of it. You see all the various. It's like the Dinklage family reunion. It's all.
Write that down. That's pretty good too.
But
What
it's-
is the ratio at these events?
oh.
Guy to girl ratio.
I thought you meant guy to puppet ratio.
9 months later, no kids will be born.
Yeah.
But that stuff, it's weird. They could make a Christopher Guest movie out of like. There's something like. There's another guy in front of it, Jim Daly, who's a ventriloquist,
And a magician.
right? Very good guy. But as he got older, he grew his beard out. It's a big way, and he does Santa Claus.
Yeah, he looks kind of like David Letterman a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? But he goes. This is really neat. Like this would be something we could put money together and film it. He goes to a Santa Claus convention like every August, and there's 300 Santa Clauses. They discuss new techniques or how to learn sign language with kids, or that's a what the fleshlight kid. It's not a toy. It's not a GI Joe, right? But
they have like a course on how to gently talk kids down from wanting the flashlight.
Yeah.
So they keep the beard going in fucking August of all times
Yeah.
too.
And
Well, Jim Daly does. At
yeah,
least.
I know he
always
does,
has
but
that
like I'm
beard.
saying, all of them.
yeah. You see the and they all look exactly alike. The
Mhm.
doughy guys with beards and.
I'm working on it. I just have to like once this goes white, I have a whole new income stream for me.
There used to be. All right, we mentioned earlier a comedy club we all went to in Northeast Philadelphia closed up this week. The whole hotel closed up. Well, at the Chamonix Mall, it's a mall outside Philadelphia. For 30 years was a Santa Claus would come from. He came from out of state. These big, heavy set Santa Claus. I when I go to people's houses, I see the picture on the refrigerator. Oh, there they are with the Santa Claus from the Chamonix Mall. Well, he would stay at the Comedy Club Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
So he'd be done having kids piss on his lap during the day and throw up on him and yank his beard. And he'd go to the bar, he'd drink, right? He'd be freaking loaded. And what he would do, all these performers know like little tricks, like like whatever. But he would get a $1 bill and he could fold it and make it look like a diamond ring, and like George Washington's face at the time, and he'd give it to a pretty lady at the bar, right? And and they would. I don't think girls dream about banging Santa Claus in a Motel 6, right?
I wouldn't put it past all of them.
Oh yeah.
I bet you there's a certain type of woman, and he does very well with them. Yeah.
Ho. Yeah. Oh, but so anyway, so this story has a point. I come in one year, and he was in town in I guess November when they started doing the Santa Claus stuff, and here he had a bout of larynx cancer.
Oh God!
And he weighed about
just a bout of it.
And he weighed about 110 pounds.
Oh.
And I was like, like, oh, well, kid, what do you want for Christmas? The kid's like, no tobacco products.
Yeah.
And
yeah, you can't be too skinny to be Santa. That's why that's one place where body shaming is appropriate.
Yeah.
Be like, you're
But
not
that's
fat enough to be Santa Claus.
If he lost weight through sheer determination and will, but you can't. That's discrimination if you fire the guy that lost weight because of cancer.
Yeah. Little boy, what do you want for Christmas?
I think it falls under the acting rules. Like if your actor no longer looks like the role, necessary role, then you have to recast them. You know, like you can't have like an Ellen Elliott Page situation mid-season of something.
Yeah.
Somehow they managed to swing it on the actual show she's on, but it's like a superhero show.
But if
so
you're
it doesn't
only
matter.
trans because of cancer, let's invent a type of cancer.
You're
here.
right. Maybe comparing
Yeah,
being
then,
trans to being Santa Claus is not the best comparison.
She's a dude now, but that was the cancer, not like surgery of her choice. Then you
That's
have
true.
to. You'd have to
get
a legal team before you jumped on that.
So you have to let a cancer Santa be Santa, even if he doesn't look like Santa.
Exactly.
Remember on Seinfeld, Mickey the midget was on, and they thought he was heightening. He was like, he's fat and he's Santa Clausing. I went to Temple University. I'm a Temple grad, and two people were in my. Well, I did communications, like radio, television, but also the people in the acting would like do your production of your movie you're making, like your student films. When I went there, I think he's older than me, but Tom Sizemore, the actor from
rest in peace.
Well, no, not older anymore. Yeah, you might have caught up to him by now.
Yeah, I know. But also Mickey I'm going to say Mickey the midget. That's what they call my son.
It's alliterative, so it's okay.
Yeah, right.
It was his character. It was his character's name, right? So
he's from the area.
Oh yeah.
And he's on Seinfeld, but he also did every Christmas commercial.
He was on like everything in the 90s.
Yeah.
They had
him and Willow.
Before Dinkler, there was a famous black midget and a famous white midget.
Yes,
and
Tony Cox.
Yeah.
But he was the famous TV white midget, because the famous movie white midget was Willow.
Saying little people.
Oh yeah,
you're right. Let's just say little people. I'm sorry.
We are already
we're already pretty deep.
It's already the toothpaste is already out of the tube.
That's such a weird that
travel size. The travel size toothpaste is already
beautiful man.
That's a Tidewater word right now. I apologize to any little person watching who's offended. But the I don't know. Yes, you're right. I do a joke where I struggle, like in the context of the joke, whether or not I should say that word to describe another performer that has midget in her name. Right. And while I struggle, you can tell exactly whether you're in Red America or Blue America based on if the audience sits uncomfortably as I struggle, or they go, hell no, and just shout the word out. I've had grouped like a crowd of like 40 people screaming the word midget at me, and it's just surreal. Like they get mad at the very suggestion that I'd self-censor myself on that word.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
I used to have a joke like that, like hey, did you guys do anything interesting today? And then whatever. I go, I shook hands with a midget. Did you ever shake hands with a midget? It's like grabbing a handful of Tootsie Rolls on Halloween, right? But then, and it's so right.
Neil's rubbing the bridge of his nose. He knew this conversation.
Well, I'm usually-
We're a minute away from the news.
I'm usually the one that causes you to do that.
But, so I do acknowledge. I go, I'm sorry. You can't call a midget anymore. We call dwarfs little people. And I would say stubby Americans. But then I said, I call them what they are, keepers of the forest. All right. And well, why do you think I stopped doing that joke? You look out in the audience, and like you see like a hand go on top of the table, getting there's a little person in the audience, right? Okay.
They probably liked it more than everyone.
One of the funniest comedians in the area is Andy Nolan.
Yes, agreed.
He's an accountant. He does my taxes though, but he's an accountant, and all his jokes are really precise. Like from his accounting math to words. Anyway, he's very funny. He had a joke about. He said, how do people would say, what kind of funeral do you want? Do you get cremated or burial? And he goes, I like to have my coffin on a surfboard being carried by 6 midgets down the road, right? Well, he did that one night, and in the audience was Mickey the midget's mom, because she's from Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah.
Is she a normal?
Yeah. She's
Neil's back to rubbing his nose. You got him on one too.
I can't have the news start without that.
Well, she wrote complained. So Andy's a very upstanding guy. He wrote.
Andy's like the nicest guy too. He's so sweet.
He wrote a letter apologizing, and here that Mickey the midget he has a group for little people acknowledgement. No, it's just he's a advocacy group.
Oh,
for
sure,
little
yeah.
people. There's who's the guy? Who's Rob McElhenney? The guy from
Rob McElhenney
right.
from It's Always Sunny.
Who's the guy? Looks like him. Looks like Rob McElhenney in a trash compactor. Brad, the little.
Brad Williams,
yeah,
the comic.
He looks like him in a trash compactor.
I'll have to look at Brad again. I don't know.
He does. Like,
Okay. All right, we'll wrap this up. We'll go to the news after that.
Sorry. But there's a picture of him online. There's some porno. I don't know what she is. Some porno star, but she's these gigantic fake breast implants. They're like out. Was a picture of him like under the shade.
I know who you're talking about.
See, there's some perks to that lifestyle. Okay, we'll wrap it up at that. Let's go to the news.
Yeah.
We're here to shoot the shit, talking news.
Okay, here we are for the news section of the show. So if you don't know, if you're just joining us for the first time, or John, if you haven't seen the pod, the way that this works is Dave and I have written 12 jokes each about the news of the week. I don't know what Dave has written. Dave doesn't know what I have written. However, if we have a joke on the same news story, we have a joke off, joking each other off. Joke. Each other off.
Same joke.
Actually, there was one time
Last week we kind of had the same joke.
we were in the same neighborhood. Oh yeah, sure. John asked during the new and improved joke off noise, which was very nice, Neil, that if we had ever had the exact same joke, and our long-term listeners will know it's come close a few times. There was one time where I think we had basically the same joke. I think 2 or 3 times it's been close enough where we normally pick the winner, and that'll be what happens if we have a joke off this time. Basically, it'll go to you, your judge, jury, and executioner. You just pick the one you like better, and then that's the winner. But sometimes if it comes out that the joke is way too close, we just call it a wash, which you're going to want to hope for because I've been creaming you lately.
I've never been creamed.
Dave, would you like to go first?
All right. Rob Schneider supports. Oh my goodness!
You went right in. Sorry.
Fucking frame this shit.
You went right in, buddy. You want to get it? You are on now. You look great. Yeah.
Anyway, Rob Schneider supports RFK Jr. for president. Says Dems are a party of forever wars and censorship. Plus, Schneider will vote for anyone with a junior in their names because their parents weren't so much having kids as they were making copies.
There you go. Donald Trump falls asleep during first day of criminal trial, learning a valuable lesson in the process. Sometimes the sleepy Joe we've been raging against has been inside of us the whole time.
800 plus actors condemned racist abuse of Romeo and Juliet lead in open letter. In fact, they've received such an overwhelming show of support that they've decided that they're not going to kill themselves at the end this time.
Justice Clarence Thomas misses Supreme Court session Monday with no explanation. His mysterious disappearance coincides with the escape of the cowboy Django from the Candyland plantation.
Oh my God.
All right. I don't know if I'm going to say this guy's name right, but ex-Dodgers pitcher Julio Urias hit with 5 charges from alleged domestic dispute. The woman in question has been hit by him so many times that she's going to collect an undisclosed settlement amount and 2 runs walked in.
Fucked it
A
up.
hit list. I liked it. You kind of balked there at the end,
I
but I liked
know,
it.
God
Yeah.
damn it.
Pro-Palestinian protesters block traffic in Chicago and San Francisco. And now when Israel supporters say, why don't you go into the brutal, violent war zone? They can reply, hey, we're already in Chicago and San Francisco.
It's true. All right. Hey, we mentioned him earlier. Famed trial witness Cato Kalin wonders if OJ Simpson made peace with God on deathbed. He went on to say, and now that no one is in that bed, can I crash there?
Yeah, that's good. Vietnamese billionaire Trong My Lan is sentenced to death for $44 billion of fraud. A harsh sentence compared to the U.S., where defrauding your own people for billions usually gets you elected.
Yeah. Reelected. Yeah.
Right. Elected,
It's great.
Golden Bachelor couple announced divorce 3 months after televised wedding. She said it really made winning this thing feel less special, as plenty of the other women who've appeared on the show have already heard at some point, you've only got 3 months.
Oh my God.
Well, here we go. Time to use that new and improved joke off noise. Joke each other off. Ow! Each other off. All right. Golden Bachelor couple divorcing after just 3 months of marriage, which should surprise nobody who ever bought flowers from the grocery store. The rose wilts quickly if it's already wrinkly when you put it in the vase.
Okay. All right,
was-
you get to pick our winner.
Oh, that joke? The
The two
Yeah,
of the two that we
the
just
same
told.
topic.
topic, yeah.
Oh, you.
I would pick him.
Yeah, because it's 3 months left of
I
living.
like it more. I like it more. I'll give it to you. All right.
And
You're
then there
closing
was
the
one.
gap. You're
Yeah.
closing the gap.
Right, I do like the wilt in the
Thank
vase.
you.
when-
Thank you. That was my
Good.
weakest.
You know what
It was,
it means.
it was poetic.
That was my
Yeah.
weakest. That was my weakest joke. We always do this whenever our weakest joke goes up as the joke off.
That
I'm always
might
like,
have worked.
God damn it.
That might have worked better as a Japanese poem.
Oh, yeah. A little haiku.
next time write a haiku. Yeah. All right. Shohei Ohtani's translator accused of stealing $16 million from baseball star's account. Some would say he's earned it, though, having to work with a guy who speaks 0 English and the only thing he knows how to say in Japanese being, "You make that out to my interpreter."
Well, we're going head to head again because this is a joke off. Each other off. Ow! Each other off. Right. 2 joke offs in a row. This is crazy. Okay. Let me see. I got to find that. I know I have it here somewhere. Okay.
Deduct.
No, there's no deduction. All right. I gotta search around. That was in your order. I'm going out of order here. All right. Former Ohtani interpreter faces charges after allegedly stealing $16 million from baseball star. The translator defended himself by saying the Japanese word for baseball sounds a lot like the Japanese word for take this money and gamble on baseball.
They might be too similar.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think? It was kind of close. I mean, it's an interpreter.
I would say it was a tie. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
there we go.
Yeah.
A tie.
Yeah, it's kind of the same.
Yeah, it's
thing.
pretty
The
much-
guy-
I
he's
think
been-
it being a
that's what
wash.
he's saying. to me. We should have done them as haikus.
Yeah.
Yes, we should. That would have been the perfect.
That's actually
haiku.
Japanese.
Yeah.
too, yeah. All right. Are you a football guy?
No.
Okay, this joke won't make any sense to you then. But Super Bowl champion Ricardo Lockett arrested on weapon and stolen vehicle charges. When his former coach Pete Carroll heard about the jail time Lockett could receive, he was quoted as saying he should have ran.
Yeah.
Stop it. No. In the Super Bowl, they threw a pass that got interception at
They
the
should have
goal
run
line.
it.
And
Marshawn Lynch should have run that in. And yeah. Okay. Rust movie armorer convicted of involuntary manslaughter, sentenced to 18 months in prison. Though she will, of course, receive credit for time served on set with Alec Baldwin.
Oh.
I'm glad you wrote something about that one.
Couldn't figure it out.
I've written so many.
You
jokes
have. You've
about
really
Alec
been. You've been rusted out.
I tried to Norm Macdonald.
Yeah.
I made him the OJ to my Norm when that first story broke. Yeah. All right. Biden administration cracks down on light bulbs as part of climate agenda. Others were quick to dismiss this, though, as there was no sign above that showed them that this was a good idea.
That's a cute little joke there.
I like that.
And then the squirrel exploded.
The Terminator producer squashes rumors, says OJ Simpson was never considered for Schwarzenegger's role. And of course it wouldn't. It would be a completely different movie if the unstoppable killing machine came from the future to stop Nicole from fucking a Jewish guy.
That'd have been that's a great cinematic what if.
OJ Simpson's The Terminator.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I guess the producer said that was never, it's a full rumor. It's like Chauncey the Rat.
Yeah.
Never happened. But yeah, I wish.
Oh, I thought you had something
No,
ready.
no,
for-
no.
Oh.
I was trying to think who else was. There's a couple people to play the Terminator. But not. You're right though. The legend goes on that.
Yeah.
I'll be back to get my merch.
Yeah.
Dan, you're up, right?
Oh,
No.
No, sorry.
Gabe's
All right,
I was
here's
asking.
a bit of a longer one.
Okay.
Disney parks will issue lifetime bans for people who lie about disabilities. Disney said, quote, "We have a zero tolerance policy for people pretending to be disabled. Also, we're now holding auditions for the role of Professor Charles Xavier. And don't forget to check out Daredevil, Born Again, coming to Disney Plus in 2025.
Blind and in a wheelchair.
all right. OJ Simpson to be cremated, meaning his brain will not be handed over for CTE research. But the good news is he will finally be able to fit into that pair of black gloves.
Where's he getting scattered?
Oh, man.
Right at the crime scene, I hope.
Yeah.
His DNA will be there forever.
Oh.
All right. Will Smith surprises Coachella with Men in Black performance. Yeah, he wanted to show he's embracing his new bad boy persona by rapping about the outfits people are wearing when he assaults them.
Governor Reeves proclaims Confederate Heritage Month in Mississippi, which seems terrible, but the people of Mississippi need a palate cleanser after how awkward things get around April 10th, which is National Siblings Day.
Nice. I miss National Siblings Day.
Yeah.
Darn.
Only child. I don't have to worry about it.
I am up here. All right. Here's one of the dumber ones I've ever written. Kesha changes TikTok Diddy lyrics during her surprise Coachella performance. Although she may have missed the point entirely when she busted out the lyric, "Wake up in the morning feeling like K. Spacey."
I wish that was the song.
What's K. Spacey?
Kevin
Kevin.
Spacey.
Oh, Kevin
Yeah.
Spacey. Oh, well,
I just lined it up to match P. Diddy.
Yeah, I'll get
Who
right.
was acquitted. All right, let's not get into it.
Different. It's different. Rapist / traffic. Yeah.
Acquitted rapist. All right. Okay. Retired chiropractor killed Elvis impersonator by chloroforming him during sex. I want to read that one again because that's too funny for me to get out. Retired chiropractor killed Elvis impersonator by chloroforming him during sex. The suspect claims all he wanted was a little less conversation.
No.
It's an Elvis song.
I've heard it. All right, last one for me. John Wayne Bobbitt, a vet whose wife sliced off his manhood, loses toe due to toxic water at Camp Lejeune.
It sounds like Mad Libs.
Yeah.
Words.
That's right. John Wayne Bobbitt, the vet whose wife sliced off his manhood, loses toes due to toxic water at Camp Lejeune. And while some can blame the camp for allowing harmful chemicals to spill into the water, Bobbitt does have a history of getting himself in toxic situations that have him walking funny afterward.
Okay, this one was going to hit the cutting room floor, but it made it due to something we said in the conversation. Huey Lewis lost his hearing. That didn't stop him from making a musical. And soon, all of Broadway will be singing his new show tune, Mom, Mom, Mom. It was just so similar to that lovely joke that you told earlier. I decided to throw it in as the last one.
We got a Pickle Man cameo. Last second there. So, John, what do you got coming up?
I mean, yeah. This Saturday, April 20th, 2 shows at the Andalusia Bar and Grill up on Route 13 in Bristol, Pennsylvania. It's around the hall in the basement in the back. There's 2 shows, and Pickle Man calls me up and says, "You better promote this." So it's my fault if no one on a nice Saturday wants to go hang in a bar basement
and eat deviled eggs.
And the 27th, I'll be at the Villas Fishing Club in the Wildwood Villas.
Cool.
And but that's it.
And check
nice.
out
Kensil.
Culture.
We haven't done it for a couple months. We got backed up with stuff, but we'll be doing new shows very shortly. I do it with the legendary Wid. Check it out. It's on YouTube. Kensil Culture.
Yep, and we get all of John's stuff, social media stuff up there.
Yep.
For our viewers to see. Dave, what do you have coming up?
Well, we're both on Saturday,
We are.
420,
That's right.
which is a great show for me, to be honest, since I'm not a filthy drug addict like the rest of you. So I'll be focusing more on the Hitler birthday portion of it.
As you do.
Yeah. So we're at Rosie's Taco Shop. Did I say?
I know. I do. Listen, I mean, the new branding is rough for them, but it is. Rosie Taco Bar is the old Latage. Oh yeah. You've been shitting on the venue. It's a gorgeous venue.
know that.
It's the old Latage.
I'm excited now.
Yeah.
Fucking
That's
Latage.
a great
was a
room. What do you
great
see this
room.
room?
I didn't know it was called
What's Rosie's Taco Bar now?
If
I
Wid
know.
was sitting here and you mentioned 420 and Hitler, he says, "Oh, do you know Hitler was a pothead? Yeah, a little stash."
Oh God.
And that's why my podcast is on a break. Sounds kidding. I'm kidding.
Then the 26th, Friday. Yeah, check me out at Giggles in the Garden. Go on my page. I'll post a link to it because I don't remember what the venue is. It's an outdoor wedding venue for vagrants. And buy our merch.
Yes,
Go.
buy our merch.
Yes.
I am at the same show. That's the only show I'm doing this week. So come see us at Rosie's Taco Shop, formerly Latage. If you didn't know that, that might change your opinion.
I'm fucking way more excited.
I'm much
now.
more excited now. I was always excited, but it's now higher, way higher.
I
And
was expecting it just like a taco stand on the street. That's all I had pictured in my head. It's
That's
like,
what I saw. That's a really cool like vintage lounge room. It's
yeah, I fucking love
Great room.
Latage.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's me for this week. I got a couple things next week. I'll plug them next week.
Sure.
Neil, what do you got going on?
Yeah. Oh, just don't forget to check out follow both of them. Well, obviously Dave Prim comedy on IG and
Danny
Danny DePriel on IG. Don't forget to do that. And of course, follow everything the Weekday Comics do over on their page. Their Instagram. Brent, you guys are just the Weekday Comics. Don't forget to do that. And yeah, you get their merch at drop10.com. You can check me out all the places that these guys are. Really, just go to iamneilwood.com.
We're all together.
Yeah, they're all great. Yeah, okay. But yeah, no, I'm not just desperate to run stuff at all.
He leads us around like Chauncey.
Yeah, you can check me out at iamneilwood.com and go over and check out Biggest Little Comedy and everything we run. We got a couple of shows coming up, and you can check us out in South Philly at Crown of Creation, again in Queens Village with Rosie's Taco Bar, and every second and fourth Friday at Myers Brewing Company. Go to drop10.com. Thank you.
Awesome.
Okay, that was the show. Great show. Thank you so much for joining us,
Thanks for
John.
having me, guys.
Thank you much. We'll be back next week with Ellie Summerling.
The very funny Ellie Summerlin.
Yeah. And then, yeah.
That's
I don't
it.
need to talk
That's
to
it.
you.
We don't need to
I don't
plug
need to
anything
talk
else.
to you anymore.
That's
No,
it.
you'll
See you
fucking
next week.
8 o'clock
Goodbye.
next week.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Well, there we go. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Oh, man, that was a. we fucking landed that like Kerry Strug should have.
Hey everybody, how you doing? This is comedian Neil Wood and
Adam Nutter.
we can't do it like that. You have to sound like a human being. This cut, that's insane. Because I'm realizing how little you're talking.
Adam Nutter.
I could just take, if you just want me to, honestly, you know what we need to do is we just need to get that clean.
Adam Nutter.
And then I'll just pop it in wherever I need to. But
Adam Nutter. Let's do that.
come listen to the Cult of Us podcast. That's our promo.
Adam Nutter.
A Drop Tent Media Network podcast. Go to droptent.com or search Cult of Us podcast on your favorite podcast platform.
This has been a Drop Tent Media production.